Little use for the heads of state at the Casablanca Conference to plan new campaigns when the ships needed to carry out these designs were being destroyed by the U-boat assault. First priority, said Winston, Churchill, and Roosevelt to the press, was to beat the U-boats. We must have ships, more ships, and immunity for ships. Only two great ships possessed the kind of immunity that the Allies desired. Built to carry hundreds of peacetime passengers, the Queen Mary and the Queen Elizabeth were able to accommodate within their massive hulls thousands of fighting men. At the same time, their engines were of such power as to enable them to outstrip the fastest of U-boats. But for the slow, vital Atlantic convoys, it was numbers that counted. And so, in the shipyards of the United States, Britain, Canada, South Africa, and Australia, human effort was stepped up to superhuman effort. And any method, however unconventional, was employed to send new hulls down the slipways. Prefabrication, sideways launching, endways launching, upside-down launching if it would help. What did convention matter if discarding it meant more ships per month, per week, and who knows, per day if that was possible? Ships and immunity for ships. From newly established bases in Iceland, Newfoundland, and the West Indies, long-range aircraft, equipped and manned to stay in the air if need be for a day and a half, and in the staying, reach out to sweep those hitherto undefended areas of ocean that for so long had been the U-boats' happy hunting grounds. And so 1 million and more square miles of Atlantic wastes became an undisputed realm for Allied convoys. Warships, escorts, carriers, all to defend a few score of tramps and liberty ships. For on these seas, vigilance was the price of life. Eyes over the ocean, eyes at masthead, eyes all over the ship. And with this vigilance, the deadly monotony of life on a wartime ocean. Peeling spuds, playing with a cat, having your hair cut, and dreaming of a wife's pleasure when she sees the loot brought home from faraway places. Vigilance, the price of life, eyes over the ocean, the eyes of men, and the more penetrating electronic eyes of radar. Each blip, a ship of the convoy, hidden by mist except to the scanner. Eyes reaching to the horizon, eyes seeing out beyond the horizon's rim. Airborne radar brings strike one. Escorting aircraft are probable. Then, on the screens of the escort ships, blips signifying an unidentified contact. The radar contact becomes a visual contact, and all close in. Crash dive for U-135, then swoop and dive and cannon from a sea fire. First blood to a bird from a carrier. And now, as U-135 struggles for depth, all-out efforts from the surface. Above, thundering man-made waterspouts. Below, cracking seams, strained plates, leaks, and fear. Until at last, strike two resolves itself from a probable into a certainty, as leaking at every pore, a surfaced U-135 gives herself up. Ships, more ships, and immunity for ships. So in 1943 was the crisis past. The long haul pulls through, with not just enough to defend and sustain, but enough at last to attack. Enough for the Soviet Union, enough for China, enough for Britain, enough for Mountbatten in Burma, enough for MacArthur in the Pacific. Yet, is it really ever enough? For surely no war can ever be ended soon enough. Then, in 1943, comes the first real sign that the long haul is indeed nearing its end. In North African ports assemble hundreds of ships, ships to be loaded with thousands of men. An armada sets sail, ships sailing out with a confidence that only comes with sure command of the high seas. In support, to add command of the air to that of the sea, wasps from once besieged Malta, defensive to offensive. Fighters, bombers, ships and men, all converging on one shore, the brown, hot shore of Sicily. And so, because others had won the battle of the oceans, men set foot at long last on the soil of Europe. After 3 years, back again, to stay, because they came in with the turning of the tide.